Guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. So this video is for all of my overthinkers that are currently going through a breakup or just trying to move on from somebody in life, because literally when you're an overthinker, it can make it 10 times harder to forget about somebody and to literally get them off your mind. I'm going to tell you how I was able to stop thinking about my ex and completely move forward without them being in my mind 24/7, which then led me to being able to move on. So first things first, as an overthinker, I literally know exactly what it's like. Literally, my overthinking can be so bad sometimes to the point where I open my eyes and my brain just goes right away. And when I was going through the breakup, I noticed throughout the day randomly this person would just keep popping into my mind, and I wouldn't know what to do at first. I didn't know how to control it, and I would just feel that emotion all over again. And then I just felt like I was stuck in this cycle of thinking of them, feeling this emotion, feeling terrible again, thinking about them, feeling this emotion, feeling terrible again. And then it went on for a couple of weeks until I had to realize that I have complete power over my mind, that I am my own person. I am able to control the thoughts that come in my brain. I'm able to direct my energy to elsewhere, and it was something that I battled day to day probably until a couple of weeks ago. From July until now, it's September, I've been really working on my mind, taking control of my mind, calling my power back, and being able to not be consumed about thinking about this person and what they're doing, who they're with, blah 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 blah, like all of the things that I know us women think about after a breakup, or men. I know it goes both ways. But first things first, I had to make the realization that I am in complete control of my mind, that I am able to redirect my energy. So whenever a thought or they would pop up into my mind, because what I was mostly thinking about was all the good moments, all the good memories, how much I loved them. So whenever that comes into my brain, or would come into my brain, I would either think about how they made me feel at the end of the relationship, because that feeling within itself is something I never wanted to feel again. So it was telling my brain, like, no, that's not the reality of who they are. The reality of who they are is how they made you feel at the end, however the breakup happened. This is the reality, and this is what you have to accept. And that really helped me move on, because I stopped romanticizing them. I stopped looking at them through those rose-colored glasses, and I was able to really see the situation for what it was. But it took repetitiveness. I had to do it over and over and over again. It was not something that I was able to do just like that. Every single time a good memory popped up, I replaced it with how they made me feel, or some kind of disrespect, or for example them following a bunch of girls on social media immediately after. I replaced it with that, and that was helping me like really be like, what, like, why am I spending my time thinking about somebody that made me feel this way? Why am I spending my time on somebody that was able to dispose of me just like that? And that really helped me. And again, repetitiveness with this. And I also really started to take a look on, why do we think about these people? Why are they coming into our brain? And it's not that you're doing it on purpose. It's literally habit and comfort. This person was a part of your life for so long. This person was a part of your everyday routine every single day. Like, of course your brain is going to automatically think of them. Your brain is automatically going to include them into your thoughts every day, and it's something you have to take yourself out of. It's something you have to shift and change your routine in order for you to be able to move on. Because if you're not changing anything about your day-to-day routine, and you're doing everything completely the same just as you were doing when you were with this person, of course your brain is going to be thinking, okay, where are they? Like, why aren't they here? Like, oh, you see that car and it reminds you of them. Oh, look, they wore that cologne. Like, you have to start associating things differently to your brain in order for you to not give so much emphasis on certain things that might trigger you to think of them. Like, for example, you see their car and you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's their car, like, now I'm thinking of them. Oh, I hate that car. And it puts you into that emotion that you would feel when you were with them, or it puts you into the emotion that makes you think of them and makes you feel not good. But when you get those moments of seeing that car, you have to tell your brain, like, oh, it's just a car. And then every single time you see the car, oh, it's just a car, you're able to take away the value from certain things in order for you to not get triggered, and in order for you not to continue to think about this person every single time you see a car. But it takes repetitiveness, just like I said before. This is something you consciously have to make an effort to do, because if you're just continuing to allow yourself to see the car and think of them every single time, that's what's going to happen, and you're always going to associate that car with that person. Like, for example, in my situation, the person didn't even live in the same state as me. Obviously I knew what car they drove because when I would go visit them, but when I came home, all I started seeing was that car, and every single time I seen that car, I was like, oh my god, like, oh, I miss them, like, oh, I remember that car, oh, I know what the inside of that car looks. No, like, okay, it's just a car now. Like, to me, it's just a car. Like, that person means nothing to me now. And you have to really call your power back to allow yourself to do that, because you're giving away your power every single time that you're seeing a car and be like, oh my gosh, like, I really miss them now because I see that car. Or, oh my gosh, I remember when we would go to Target together. Like, call your power back and realize that this life is your life now. If you're really truly ready to move on and move forward with your life and heal, you have to take away the value from everyday things that you associate with your ex-partner. And another really good thing that you need to be doing is every single time you feel like your power is going back to them, when you're thinking about them, when you're thinking about the memories, whenever you're wondering what they're doing, that is the perfect opportunity for you to start telling yourself positive affirmations, to redirecting the energy towards you, to doing something that you want to do, to pouring your energy into gaining more knowledge, whatever it is that's maybe going to help you excel towards your goals. This is the perfect opportunity for you to call back your energy, because if you're spending all of your time thinking about that person, I want you to ask yourself honestly, like, how much do you mean to yourself if you're wasting your time and your energy thinking about this person all of the time? Because the reality is they're not in your life anymore, and more than likely they're not coming back. If this was a toxic situation and you're ready to move on, you shouldn't want them to come back either, because you should want to be able to heal to the point where you're no longer going to accept that bare minimum behavior anymore. But that means you call back your energy every single time you think about them. That means that you learn how to pour that love into yourself, expand your mind, tell yourself you're so beautiful, hang out with your friends, do things that you like to do. And eventually you're going to stop the pattern of thinking about them all the time, because you're going to learn how good it feels to pour your energy into yourself, pour your attention into yourself, and how that feels so much better than spending every single day thinking about this person. Because another thing is, you can spend all of this time thinking about this person. You can spend all of this time wondering what this person is doing. You can spend all of this time trying to figure out if they're talking to other people. Okay, if they're talking to other people, if they're doing this and that, you guys are not together anymore. And are you really going to allow yourself to waste that much time and effort trying to figure out what they're doing, when in reality you can't do anything to change it? That person is their own person, and you have to really take a step back and say, okay, I am my own person now. I have the ability to really change my life now. I have the ability to get with somebody in the future that will never ever treat me the way that person did, and it will feel so empowering the moment that you call your energy back and you stop giving away and you stop giving so much power to them by thinking about them all of the time. But that's really what it takes, is becoming so obsessed with yourself, being so focused on your own goals, being so focused on your own healing journey, being so focused on learning how to make yourself feel good. That's what it takes in order for you to stop thinking about this person, because you have to put yourself on the pedestal. You have to put yourself up here to the point where you're never ever going to do or think about anything that's not going to elevate you and not make you feel good about yourself. Because once you truly put yourself on that pedestal, once you truly raise your self-worth, you're going to be able to look at things like, why am I going to think about that when they're just that? Like, you are the prize. You have to learn how to treat yourself as the prize. Learn how to think like you're the prize. Tell yourself you are the prize throughout your day. Call your energy back and really start to learn how to make yourself feel good, so you're not stuck in that toxic cycle of thinking about them all of the time, because that's just what it is. It's a cycle that your brain is so used to, but you have the power to stop it, and you have the power to change those patterns that your brain is doing automatically. And once you start creating new patterns, you're creating new neurons in your brain, and you're going to start going on these different highways in your own brain. Highways are neurons. You're going to start developing new highways, new roads for your brain to think on, new roads for you to go on every day. Again, I'm talking about neurons. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but the neurons that you have already formed were formed from your past, but you have the ability to change. You have the ability to literally change the way your mind thinks, and you just have to really call your power back and realize that you are powerful. You do have the ability to move on. It's a conscious effort, it's repetitiveness, it takes a little bit of time, but if you're truly ready to move on, this is exactly how you do it. And I hope this video helps whoever is watching. I hope you are having an amazing day, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.